Hey everyone, welcome to the Captain Drone YouTube channel. My name is Steve and I'm far away to show you that we are in the month of November. It's November 10th today. It is fall weather and it's pretty darn cold, but I'm out here to tell you a story about this quad. This is the Y6. So this quad came out in the month of May, and this review I'm about to show you has been 6 months in the making. The reason is when this quad came on the market, it only lasted on the market for a couple of weeks. They sold maybe a few hundred and then they stopped because they ran out of components. Yeah, there was some shortage and they couldn't get components to build this 6-motor quad in a Y configuration, so they stopped making it and it's been out of stock since. But it came back into stock at the end of October and now you can buy it. So what I'm going to show you is my review that was made over the past 6 months, and it's kind of weird. Anyways, I've chopped it all together and I'll stop talking. Watch this. Hey everyone, welcome to the Captain Drone YouTube channel. My name is Steve and I'm out here today with the HGLRC REKON Y6 long-range FPV drone. Now for many of you, you might be looking at this quad, here I'll hold it up in the sky, you might be looking at this quad and going, I've seen that before, I've seen it months ago. Well, you probably did. So what happened is HGLRC, who owns REKON, sent these quads out to reviewers in the month of May. However, after we received them, they said, Stop, don't review them because there's a shortage of circuits for building these things. So they stopped making them until they got their supply set up. And now, as you're watching this video, the supply is back on. These are being built in the thousands and you can finally order one. So when I received this back in the month of May, I actually flew it and I will say I was quite impressed with flying it. I tried chasing some jets, EDF jets, which are very fast planes. Now, as many of you have probably already noticed, it has 6 motors. 6 motors on a quad. And the reason it has 6 motors is because it can lift pretty much anything. You can put massive batteries on this and it will lift them. They actually say that if you put a 3000 lithium ion battery on here, you'll get 20 minutes of flight time. So right now I'm going to show you a short segment of video. I took this to my other field and I let Jedi Steve give it a look over and give it a try, and you'll also hear in that video how loud the props are. So that's a pretty good test. Anyways, check this out. Check out the fog this morning, but don't worry about the fog because we have Jedi Steve here and I want to show him a new quad on the market. All right. I have the quad behind my back. Here it is!
Oh, yes. I remember asking you about this one.
Yeah, you asked me about it.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Y configuration, I guess they're calling it, right?
Exactly. It's called the REKON Y6 because there's 6 motors, they're 5-inch props, and I will say it flies really well. I flew it back in the month of May and the month of June chasing planes. It goes extremely fast. And it's a blast to fly. And
if nothing else, it looks a lot different than your usual quad, right? So
yeah. So looking at it, what do you think?
It's a cool looking bird. I've seen the Y configuration with 3 motors, but never seen it with 6.
With 6, so I know.
It's got to be moving pretty quick.
You know what the claim to fame is? The reason they made it like that is because with 6 motors, just like when you see people quads, like they make drones nowadays that can move people, they have 6 or 18 motors or whatever.
Yeah.
These motors now in that configuration can lift a huge payload. It can lift a lot of weight.
All right, so I'm assuming you're putting a big battery on this guy?
You can put a massive size battery on there and it should fly no problem.
All right, let's try it.
I'm going to readjust the camera for you too. I've got the camera adjusted so it's not so dramatically up. If I'm
looking at the angle, that's still going to move. Yeah, that's probably fine.
So normally the angle on this thing is normally in line with this 3D printed material.
Yeah.
But I find it's very difficult to land. So I've lowered the camera, but you can see, even though I lowered it, it's not lowered that much.
Leave it like that. I think it's fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go a million miles an hour with that thing either.
Not a million, a trillion.
A trillion.
A trillion miles an hour.
That's fast.
We don't do million here. So for you, Steve, I'm going to put just a 1050 battery on.
1050? Let's see.
I'll make it work. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, no. Here's your answer. Here's your answer, Steve. No good. Tighten that sucker.
It's too tight now, Steve. Okay.
All right. Give it a little shake just to be sure.
Yeah, she's not coming out.
Should be fine.
She's in there.
That should be fine.
So this is what happens if you put a small battery in. So Jedi Steve's ready to fly. What I'm going to get him to do is take off, fly around a bit, and then come near me so we can hear how loud this little quad is. So you're over here, Jedi Steve. Take off anytime.
Take it away. Take it away.
There he goes.
That's nice and predictable. That's nice and stable.
Yeah. How's the camera angle? Since I've
Camera
got it
angle
lower.
is fine.
There we go. Okay, I'm going to be quiet this time, and if you can come and whip by us, from whatever direction, that'd be great.
I'm coming back.
There it is.
It's not that loud, really, eh?
Not as loud as you would think.
No, no, I'm surprised for 6 motors going full bore.
There we go, we'll try again. Yeah, you would think it would be a little bit louder. I'm gonna go over here. He's coming back, I'll get out of the way. Come on back, there we go. Oh, look at that, I can barely hear it. I'm following you. If you can do some, just up in the air above me, do some freestyle. I want to hear it, the sound it makes.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got the sound. That's good. All right. Okay, you can bring her back.
Let's see if I can land it.
Hopefully I don't have the camera angle too off that you can actually see the landing pad. And oh, nicely done, nicely done.
There you go.
That. Look
Not
at
bad
that.
for a first flight.
That's awesome.
This is a sweet drone. It handles, like, I got comfortable right away with it. It's fast. It's goes super steady where you point it. Super responsive and aerobatic, so I like it.
Like it. And
like
as I ask you every time, because you're making your list, do you want Santa to bring you one for Christmas?
Of course, yeah, on top of all the stuff I want, yes.
That's right. Add it to the list. Oh, I got little puppies coming to visit. How you doing, puppy? You are on camera now. Oh, now I got puppy number 2. Hi, guys. Go see your masters. Whenever I come out to my fields and go for walks and review products, dogs are always off leash here, which they're not allowed to be, but they are, nobody minds, and they always come over to visit me. Maybe I look like a dog bone or something. The cool thing is that it comes in 3 versions. So you have the super expensive version, which I have here. It's got the DJI-03 system. Then you have the lesser expensive version, which is Walk Snail, Moonlight Edition. And then you have the least expensive, which is analog. So there's a version out there for anybody watching this right now. And for receivers, I believe you can get Crossfire, which mine has. I don't know if you can see it on the front. There's a little Crossfire module, and you could also get ELRS, of course. If you're wondering about the motors, they are 1800 kV, and it does have an F7 flight controller. Also, as you can see on the very top portion in the front, there is an M100 GPS unit for GPS rescue. So what I'm going to quickly do for a portion of this video is I'm very curious about the flight times, because I flew this back in May and June, and I thought the flight times were pretty good, but I can't remember which battery I used back then. So today I brought 3 batteries, 1300, an 1800, and a 2200. You know, they go from small size to massive size. I'm going to fly it with each of those batteries only for 3 minutes. I'm going to set my timer on my TBS Tango 2 Pro, set it for 3 minutes, come back and land, and after those 3 minutes I'm going to check how much voltage percentage wise is remaining in each battery, and that will let me know how long of a flight time I can get on either of those batteries. So let's go try that now. All right, here we go. This is the first flight using a 1300 milliamp hour LiPo battery 6S. I'm going to fly it for 3 minutes, bring it back, land it. Should land it at 3 minutes. I'm going to check the voltage, the percentage, to see how much is remaining.
Flight mode launch.
Now for each flight, I'm trying to fly each flight similar in style, not be too aggressive, not be too tame, just so I get an accurate reading on the voltage when I'm finished.
Engine off.
Okay, I've unplugged the battery. That's the battery that was used here, 1300. Plugging this in, let's see what it says. After 3 minutes of flight, 3 minutes of flight. Oh my God, check that out. It's 56% remaining after 3 minutes of flight. Can it see that? I don't know if it focuses on this thing, but that's 56% remaining on a 1300 milliamp hour LiPo battery. There we go, you can probably see it better down here. So that tells me on a battery like this, you can easily get 5 minutes of flight time, maybe even a little bit more. So that was 3 minutes and 56 remaining. Awesome. Now we'll do the same flight again, but with a 6S 1800 milliamp hour LiPo battery. So obviously you get a lot more flight time, but this weighs a lot more. So when you put all this weight on this drone, they kind of like cancel each other out for like flight time and you know, weight carrying abilities. So we'll try it and we'll see what the percentage is after 3 minutes. All right, the sun is going out, so this would be a good test for the camera to see how it does in low light.
Flight mode launch.
Heavy battery.
Engine off.
3 minutes of flight. What's the percentage after that? It's the same. Well, almost the same. It's 58%. So that's, oh, it just tells you that, you know, the weight of the battery really affects your flight time. So now I'll try the 2200 milliamp hour LiPo battery. It's massive. You know, you go from 1300 to 22. It's huge. It's big. It's got to fit on this quad. Look at the size of the battery of the quad. You know, they're almost identical in size, but I'll try it. So you see, the problem with putting a big battery like that on is that they have the XT60 built into the frame, so I have to leave room to get this into the frame and get the balance cable out of the way and make sure nothing hits the props.
Flight mode launch.
Heavy battery, here we go.
Engine off.
Boink, there we are. So I'm pretty curious. Let's try this. I'll plug this in. And oh my God, okay, this one makes no sense. So now I'm totally confused. Look at this. I flew for 3 minutes and I have 82% battery power remaining using a 2200 milliamp hour 6S LiPo battery. That is insane to have that much flight time remaining. Why didn't I get that with the 1800? Maybe that 1800 battery was useless. I don't know, but that's pretty good. That means you can get a super long flight time. So for this last flight, I have a GoPro Hero 13 up top, and I have a 1300, so 1300 milliamp hour 6S LiPo battery at the bottom. I'm gonna fly this for 3 minutes, and I'll check how much power is remaining in the battery below when we land. All right, it's getting late. That was the last flight of the day. The sun is going down. So let me just grab this battery and we'll check what the percentage is on the voltage. So flying for 3 minutes with a GoPro on top and a, what was this, a 1300 milliamp hour LiPo battery, we were at 48%. 48%, that is really good. So 3 minutes and I'm at 48% and a GoPro is on top, flying with this battery here. So that's awesome. Okay, so you're back to me in the month of November. Today is November 10th. I have the latest version of this quad. Some of the electronics have been updated. The GPS has been updated so it tracks the GPS faster, but pretty much it's the same quad. I'm gonna take it for a quick flight now and show you what the video looks like. Here we go. So the Rekon Y6 I'm flying here is different than the Rekon Y6 I flew earlier in the video. This is the latest version, the one that you would get if you buy this now. The good news is there's absolutely no difference in performance or flight from the previous model to this version. So if you did buy the earlier version back in May and you're wondering if there's a big difference, there's no difference. It's exactly the same. Okay, so we're still in the month of November. You saw the flight footage from the newest version. It's not much different than the previous version, but if you buy this today, you get this version. So let's go back indoors to Steve, me, from a month or so ago when I summed up the last time I made a review on this, and we'll watch that now. Here, check this out. All right, so you're back to me. I'm indoors, and I have the Y6 right here. It's a little bit dirty because I was flying it out in wet grass, but I want to show you right now what you get in this box. So check this out, then come back to me. Here we have the box the Y6 comes in. Inside the box you can see how everything is packaged. Once removed from the box, the only thing you need to do is prop the antennas up and then install the props. A propeller direction card is included to help you out. If you install the props correctly, well then it's going to look like this. You'll note that the prop placed on the top motor turns in the opposite direction from the prop placed on the bottom motor. My Y6 has the very expensive DJI-03 camera, DJI-03 recording system, and DJI-03 transmission system. No matter which version of Y6 you purchase, they all have the same flight controller, gyro, and buzzer. All versions also come with the M100 mini GPS for GPS rescue. Total weight of the version I have with the DJI-03 system is 319 grams, and that is before adding a battery. Other items included in the box would be 2 battery straps, 2 spare props, a carbon fiber takeoff and landing stand. It sits below the battery so that the drone does not tip over before takeoff. You also receive hardware for the external camera mount, a QR code for the online manual, and finally a sheet of stickers. So let me move this little guy out of the way and I'll give you my final thoughts. Now, my final thoughts are pretty much positive, and even as you heard Jedi Steve, he's in love with this thing. It's a really good quad. Now, I had to look on my cell phone to find out which component was in short supply for this quad and what held up this whole production process so that you couldn't buy it for months on end. All they're saying when I look at all my emails with Rekon is they said the AIO is still out of stock, and when it's back in stock we have to test it for 1.5 months before we can confirm it's ready. So I guess all that has occurred. Let me tell you some things I found impressive. It flies super true. It's such a smooth flyer. It's so wonderful to fly this. You can go through any object and feel confident. It inspires confidence right away. Next thing is when I flew with this little GoPro 13 up top and I used my 1300 milliamp hour LiPo battery 6S, I was surprised that after 3 minutes there was as much voltage remaining as there was, because that's weight, and with this on I thought it was going to suck up some power, but no, you can get 5 minutes easily. What confused the heck out of me at first is when I flew with the 1800, I didn't have a lot of percentage of power left, a little less than I thought, and then I reviewed the video and I realized that I didn't fly for 3 minutes, I flew for over 4 minutes, so yeah, I goofed that one up. But when I flew with the 2200, I did fly for 3 minutes, and yeah, there was tons of power left. So this thing is really good. And the cool thing is that when you put on heavy batteries on this, you don't really notice the weight that much. It just keeps on flying really well. So I think Rekon has a hit on their hands. Now, I know a lot of people who watch this are probably going, "Oh, you got to say something negative." Well, okay, let me find something negative. Let me show you this. So if you put something like a 1300 milliamp hour battery on here and you fit it in the little spot below, it fits perfectly between the crossfire antenna up front and the back where you put your XT60 into the quad. So it's like a little bracket and it holds the battery there. Perfect. When you add a battery that's like a 2200, well, guess what? This is pretty long, at least this one. It doesn't fit from the front to the back perfectly. You can't make it go backwards because you have to get your XT60 plug in the back because it's sticking right here. So that's got to fit there. And then the battery goes forward. So your battery sort of hangs out the front a little bit like this. Doesn't really upset the balance too much. When I flew it, I didn't notice anything, but it just seems a little awkward. So that's the only negative I have. So other than that, I love it. I love it. It's a really good quad. So I'm going to put links to it below. You can go check it out. I think it's on several websites. Go check it out and see if it is the quad for you. I don't know the price because it's not online anymore. I don't know what the price is. It doesn't show up anywhere. But anyways, hopefully it shows up when you're watching this video. Go check it out. You'll see the price and you'll see what's available and everything else. All right, guys, if you have questions on this quad, post your questions below. If you enjoyed my review, then please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in a future video with many more cool product reviews. Until then, I say bye.